while they were playing things at NEC, but here they are, over breakfast.
Exhibition Centre.
We have started, we've obviously started. Cheers.
Cheers.
Gone too far this time, but I'm dancing off the valentine. I'll tell you somebody screw you around with my chances on the danger line. I'll cross that bridge when I find it. I'm never going to make my stand. Oh, I try to stop somebody's idea if I should find a helping hand. Oh, so why don't you use it? Try not to lose it. My time, don't lose it. So why don't you use it? Try not to lose it. My time, don't lose it.
How do you feel coming out in front of lots of girls screaming around?
How I feel? It's pretty good, actually.
The great thing is if you're in a really miserable mood or however down you feel, as soon as you walk on stage, it puts you on an instant high.
I thought the audience last night actually was very wide. I mean, I think a lot of people will obviously notice the screaming kids because they're the loudest and they're the ones that are all down the front and making a lot of noise.
Just before we go on stage, there's always, well, for me anyway, there's always a little bit of nerves, just somewhere down the base of my spine, really electric. And as soon as we walk on stage, it's just a buzz that explodes. It's exciting.
Before you went on stage, you were shouting rather loudly and jumping
backstage?
kicking your legs forward.
It wasn't me.
Is that to get the adrenaline up?
Just to get into the mood. You have to warm up a lot. I do that. I sit on the bus thing, and all things like that. You've done vocal warm-ups before, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
What is it, bar baby, bo?
Bidda-gidda.
You've been doing an album in Australia. How did that go?
Well, we actually recorded it in Montserrat, which is boring as hell. We actually got the recording done, but couldn't stand the place. We were going to go to Nassau. From there, more desert islands, more beach.
And we decided we got too far away from it all, so we went to Sydney.
Just a bit too far out.
Yeah, I think the thing is there, it's all very nice and very well laid out and everything, but it just didn't suit this band for a working environment because you tend to find yourself when there's blazing sun every day and lots of swimming pools and one cold little studio. It's not really that good a working environment, certainly not for us.
You went to drama school, didn't you?
I went to university. I did drama here, Birmingham, for a year. And I did a lot of things. I do find these really disconcerting, actually. I'd been training as an actor since I was about 3 or 4 years old.
Did you like it? Did you like acting?
Yes, but what I like about being in a band is you've got your own script. I think that's much more important. You see, I go on stage, I don't have to learn, I don't have to get into parts and things because it's us I'm writing about, it's me. And it's really fresh, it's just straight from the creator to the audience, which is what I like, I wanna ride and don't wanna get up, but they won't slow down to roundabout. So doing more and he said, don't wanna be around when this gets out. So why don't you use it? Try not to lose it. Why try don't lose it? So why don't to lose it. Try not to lose it. Try not to lose it. The reflex is an only child who's waiting by the pond. The reflex is in charge of finding treasure in the dark. And watching overlooking clover is unlocking dark. Everything to be best of is the answer to the question mark. So why don't you lose it? Try not to lose it. Try, don't lose it. So why don't you lose it? Try not to lose it. Try, don't lose it. The reflex is an only child who's waiting by the pond. The reflex is in charge of finding treasure in the dark. Watching overlooking clover is not that bizarre. Everything the reflex does is the answer to the question mark. The reflex, what a game, he's hiding all the time. The reflex is in charge of finding treasure in the dark. Watching overlooking clover is not that bizarre. Everything the reflex does is the answer to the question mark. Wow, wow, oh, oh, oh.
How do you feel the years gone for Duran 1983?
It's been a hard year, but I think it's gone very well. We've achieved a lot this year. The album, Seven and the Raggy Tiger, I think is by far the best of the 3 albums we've done. I mean, we spent a long time on it.
The 6 months we spent on the album, you know, it was a long time to spend on one piece of vinyl. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad we're on tour now. This tour sort of takes us on through to April, and that's really what it's all about.
Do you find it actually difficult when you actually get home to settle down and be mould into the home life again?
If I go home to my parents, no, because the first thing that happens to me is my brother jumps on my back and then the other one trips me up and pours cold water over my head or something. And then we just have to sit down and have a good old night, and I'll go down the pub with them and get a bit drunk.
I just go home for cheese sandwiches or something. They're pretty good, actually. They're sort of, they're suckers for a bit of the old soft soap off the press, you know. They get people from newspapers phoning them up and saying. But they're pretty good. And I mean, they took, with me personally, they took a lot of stick off neighbours when I was trying to get a band together, you know, and everybody else's sons were going to university to do philosophy. And I was on the dole for 2 years. They took a lot of stick, and now there's people want autographs, so it's good for them. I'm quite pleased with them.
I left school and they thought I was going to get this wonderful job in an office or something, or being a bank clerk. And that just wasn't what I wanted to do. That wasn't where my heart was. And I said, you know, I signed straight onto the dole and told the dole man that I wanted to be a pop star. And he didn't take too kindly to that. It wasn't in his files. He couldn't find anything. So I just sort of spent a couple of years together with John trying to form a band, and it wasn't easy. But then, of course, now we're reaping the results of it, and I think everybody's happy that we had the chance to do that. I mean, I really believe that kids should get the chance to do something more artistic, as opposed to just be stuck in an ordinary job.
What sort of music do you listen to? Who's your favourite person to listen to?
I like Grace Jones, and the Thompson Twins' last album I thought was very good. Tears for Fears, I think. Came up with some good singles.
Nick went through my box of tapes the other day and pulled out things like Joni Mitchell and lots of Doors. I like the Doors a lot, and the Rolling Stones. And the album that John's just walked in with, the Big Country album. That one there. I've been listening to that recently. I think that's very good. That's one of the bands that I think you know, are going to save English music from radio Tudum.
How long do you feel Duran Duran will stay together?
I think we'll stay together as long as we're still producing new sounding, good songs and material which we're all artistically happy with. I mean, the thing is, I don't think there's any point anybody producing things that they don't even like themselves. I mean, first we make our music to please us and then just hope that it pleases other people too.
I don't see an end coming. It'll go on as long as we want it to, as long as we're happy doing it, as long as we're interested. I mean, the Rolling Stones have gone on for years.
I mean, unless, you know, somebody loses a leg or something, I can't actually see us stopping, really. I think as long as we keep it together, there's no reason why we shouldn't go on. I mean, there's obviously going to be a point where somebody's going to want to do something else. You know, maybe Simon's going to want to go into Dallas or something. But there are all things that I think we're going to be able to do as well as the group. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't go on and on. You know, probably be playing to old age pensioners.
We're going to play one of the more kind of, dare I say it, laid-back numbers off the LP. And that's not it. It's called New Moon on Monday.
Got any stories to tell on tour?
Got any stories to tell? I suppose Joe's told the one about the wombat.
No.
Oh no, we did this with, well, we did this. Shall I tell the one about the wombat?
I'm dying to know.
Well, it is, I mean, I mean, we always have very bad experiences with animals, like elephants in Sri Lanka and things like that. But we were doing this live satellite link-up with Noel Edmonds on a late breakfast show.
Yeah.
It was one of those sort of talking to a monitor in the grass things. And to sort of demonstrate that it was Australia, they'd given us, like, I was holding a joey, which shit on me.
Which is a baby kangaroo, isn't it?
Yeah, and John had a possum which was running all around his head. And Roger had this wombat, which is like a rather large rat, and with no neck at all. I mean, it's that big. Well, no, hang on. That was the way he was holding it. They sort of, they walk on all fours and they're about that big. And they're the ugliest looking things you've ever seen. It was sort of lying there on its back like this, everything hanging out. And somebody in the studio laughed. And this was just before we went on the air. I think they got it on film. And this wombat freaked. It jumped out of his arms and walked halfway across the grass. And then turned around and came and attacked Roger. This is trousers. And Roger started putting his legs up in the air. And then it attacked him, John. It was...
Just when you thought your interview was over, you're back on film.